huge amount of, really huge screens and everything else because of the graphic design and e-learning development. You're doing very high-end development, so you use big Macs, they cost a heck of a lot of money, they won't even give you a cent.
And they're last year's technology in most cases.
But do you know why that makes it easier? Like at the beginning I was really cross about that, but then I realised it saves me so much time, I don't have to shop around. I can just buy it.
Their after-sales
wherever you
service
go, it's
is
the same.
extremely poor.
It
So
can
if you have a problem,
either be
they don't
exceptional or really bad. Apple's customer service. However, what they've created is a shop and such a cult following that I walk past the store at Robina Town Centre 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and there is 1,000 spotty kids in there playing on machinery. And they've already got the iPad Air, but they want to go and play with the other one at the shop, just in case, it's any different, Yeah. And I went there, I went in there, I was forced to go in there to do something, I think I had to get a new screen or something like that. And I went in there the next morning after the release of the 5S or whatever, I won't even go into what the S stands for, but let's say hypothetically, it was, yes. I don't know what you mean by that. I thought it meant anyway. So I went in there, and the place just stunk of BO. Like, they had to camp out the night before, and like 3 days prior to a launch, there's people sleeping out. I'm like they do marketing so well. They do marketing like they would be the pin-up boy for marketing in the world. Now, their product is, you can take or leave their product. They've built a system for attracting people into their store. 3 days sleep out for a new product release. It's absolutely gold. Okay, so that's the way the world is going. The world is going into environments and experiences. You've got to work out, how can I give my prospects an experience of me before they ever buy from me? Not when they buy from me, before they buy from me. That's the way the world has gone. It's not that easy. Now, if you own a physical premises, it's quite easy to do. So there is an adult's version of the Apple Store story. Has anybody been to Nespresso?
Yes.
Okay, that's an adult's version of the same thing. You walk in the store, there's the colourful pods, they've got beautiful art all down one wall, and there's a barista at the back impeccably dressed that will make your coffee. You pick the pod, make the machine, you can have 5 of them if you want. You don't have to pay for any of it, but you can go and have the experience of your own barista and stand-up bar, beautiful coffee and all that sort of stuff. And so many people get swept up in that they're buying a machine, they're buying pods, they're reordering pods online, it's massive business. And so they've created an environment that people want to go to, and then they get caught up in it while they're there. So if you've got a shop or a premises or an office, it's very easy to create an environment that gets people excited, gets people jazzed up, ready to buy. If you don't have it, like you're a service-based business, it's a little bit harder, but not impossible. For example, let's say, for example, that I wasn't well, even let's say I am. You are having an experience of the business greenhouse and you haven't spent anything yet. Yeah. You will. Just kidding, right?
Don't worry about what you're about to do. Not now, like
Did you invite this bloke?
Yes, I know,
I'll put you in a trance now, and in a minute you'll get your wallet out. When you're writing checks made payable to...
Where's Home's retirement fund? And he adds an extra 0, where's it goes?
We've got to pay off.
No, I'm kidding. Okay, but for example, let's say that the summit at the end of May was a paid seminar. Let's say it was not, but let's say it was. This is an experience, and some people will sit here and then they'll go, okay, now having experienced that, I'm prepared to invest to go to this other event up here. Okay, so this is an example of experiential type marketing, although we don't have a product to sell you, but that's separate. It's the same process if you did. To give you another practical example, one of my clients was a sign writing business. Now sign writing, big signs, car wraps, all that sort of stuff. And sign writing world is kind of like vanilla. Everybody is nearly identical. They all make good, colourful signs. That's about the extent of it. This one mob that I worked with, I said, we've got to work out how do we give your prospects an experience of you before they buy from you. He's scratching his head. I said, let's just do this. Let's shoot a video, a corporate video, but not a really polished corporate video, a bit of a raw, edgy kind of video. So all we did was we got a handheld candy cam kind of thing, handy cam, a wireless microphone so it had half decent sound, and the owner of the business stood to camera on a tripod, and just one of his team members hit go. He said, Hi, welcome to my company. Just want to give you a bit of an outlook about what we do. First, I'm going to cut to a time-lapse camera of a job we did where we fitted a shop front, and then I'll take you for a tour of the factory. Then it cuts to this time-lapse camera of a job. They stripped out the shop front, put a new one in, and it was really, really cool. And then he says, okay, come through the factory with me. And he stands and he goes, okay, this is this part, here's the CNC machine, here's Bob, he looks after this. Upstairs is our graphic design team, walk through there. Walk down here and he says, listen, if you do business with me, I'll make you 2 promises, and then he just wraps up the video. That's all he did. And it was really, really cool, because what we did was we bragged about how big and cool we were without having to say any of that. Because so many signwriters are running out of a van with a little cutting machine. These guys are massive factory, you know, big machinery, big equipment, big expense. And we wanted to say that without having to say it. So by walking through the video, we saw that this guy's got a team of 15, like he's a big deal. So what we did is, the way it works is when somebody wants a sign, they call up 3 companies, they get 3 companies to quote, they come and measure it all up, they go back, they send in their quote and hope for the best. Real progressive companies will make a follow-up call on their quote. That's about the extent of it. So what we did with this guy is he would get the call, he would go out, he'd do his measure up, he would come back to his office, as soon as he sat down, immediately he would send an email saying, hey, Bob, it was great to meet you this morning. I'm preparing your quote as I write this, but I just wanted to get you this video, and sends a link to this video. Okay, that's it. So he added 1 step into the process. Then he would call up 2 days later and say, hey, I just want to check out the video and how'd you go, and I'll run you through that proposal. And conversion went up 18% on accepted quotes and tenders. 18, just like that, with 1 strategy that took him 1 hour to put together and a little bit of editing time. That's what I mean by experience, because the people that didn't know him, that were going to consider him as a sign writer, now got to do a tour, a factory, they met the owner, they've been through, they met some of the staff, they got to see that they're a big deal, they got to see the jobs they're working on, all of that. That was an experience of them.
Was the video just normally available on their website, or did they only send it to prospects?
No, it was on YouTube, so that anybody could stumble across it.
Yeah, but was it featured on the front? Like, because
No,
a lot of people would have come to them through their website.
It was only in YouTube,
Right,
and they sent
so
them a
they-
link.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was available to the public, but not on their website. So that's just a practical example of the kind of things you can do to give people a better experience, because you've got to give them an experience of you before they buy from you. We were out of here at 10:30, right?
We are.
I'm going to give you 1 strategy, and then we'll do Q&A. I want to talk about social media. Whether you like it or not, it is here to stay. And I absolutely love it. Love Facebook. Okay. If you plan on being in business for more than 2 years from today, you have to adopt social media. If you don't plan on being in business for the long term, you can go without it. Okay. But if you plan on being in business for a long time, you have to have it. Regardless of industry, regardless of whether you like it or whatever, you have to be doing it, because it's the way the world's going. And Facebook is a phenomenal tool. Somebody once told me it's the Antichrist. It's not the Antichrist, okay? It's just not the Antichrist, okay? Barack Obama maybe, but Facebook is not the Antichrist, okay? I'm not suggesting he is, I'm just saying he's more likely to be than Facebook, okay?
He's owned by the CIA.
Do you know what Facebook did yesterday? Hear what they bought yesterday?
What's that?
WhatsApp.
Yeah, what is WhatsApp?
It's just a SMS device.
Oh, is that all
Yeah,
it is?
19 billion they paid.
Yes, I saw it was a lot of money.
It's free for the first year, and you can send stuff all around the world. So we just finished a project
Apparently they-
where the subject matter expert was a professor in India, and we just used WhatsApp for the entire project. Cost us absolutely nothing. We had no, we didn't use anything else but WhatsApp.
450 million users currently.
That's a lot.
It is. But here's the thing, what I don't get is they've said, we do not have access to your data, we only have access to your mobile number. Well then, how's it worth 19 billion?
Yes.
What are they planning to do with this?
They'll cross-sell, they'll sell advertising on it,
Yeah,
of course. You know, Facebook revenue this last 1 year has doubled.
yeah.
Imagine doubling. They're $10 billion a year in revenue, Facebook, at the moment, a year. That's a lot. They'll be 20 billion next year. So, although it was embarrassing float, they'll probably do okay. But here's the reason why it's important, because you can become the guru in your industry. You know, if you go back 15 years, how much did it cost to start a television channel? Millions, right? Millions. I've got a television channel listed on my business card. A television channel. My own channel. YouTube.com/Business Greenhouse. How much did it cost me? Simply do that. I have a television channel. I can load videos up there all the time, and people subscribe to them, and it automatically sends them new video coming out. I can send people an email saying go to my website, I'll go to my video, watch it, and so forth. It's absolutely phenomenal. What a great way to engage an audience. So my three favourite are Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Twitter less so. Twitter is great if you're doing business globally because it's a global outreach. I mean, Australia doesn't really use Twitter. It's a very small following. They're pretty big on Facebook. I was a fairly early adopter of Facebook, late 2007. And so I hit it pretty hard. I went out and got 4,000 friends, and such good friends. And I communicate with those every day with business hints and tips. And that was my area that I never came out of the spiritual closet. I stayed as just one of them, in a sense. So I wrote decoded, uncoded biblical stuff that they would never have known for years. And now I'm starting to come out of the closet a few times about who I am and what I stand for, which is really fun because then you get some pretty interesting responses. Most people are supportive, funny enough. And so what I like about it is you just build a following of the people that you want. If you go back in history, if you remember, if you've been in business more than 10 years, I remember I started out with a Rolodex. Remember the Rolodex with the business cards in the big circle? And you went A, B, C, yeah. And then we got all fancy and we put them in leather wallets and they were like this, you know. Then we got even fancier, we had a CRM. So we had something like, client relationship manager. You load them in, you can make notes and watch your pipeline go from blue to purple to green and feel really good about yourself and all that sort of stuff. The new trend is social media. I don't like the name social media because it's not about making friends for me. It is your interactive database. Your clients and prospects should be connected with you on social media. That's where your prospects are.
Just ask, do you use a page or a profile?
I have two. So I have a personal profile, which is Wes Hone, and I have the business greenhouse.
And do you use Wes Hone as for business or only for your private stuff?
Only for business. I'm not interested in friends, I'm interested in cash.
So they're both business.
They're both
Oh,
business.
that's the quote of the day.
You're definitely not going to the May conference there, mate.
If you come, you'll learn how to make cash. But I just run different messages on them. So with my business greenhouse, I'm very spiritual, scriptural, that sort of thing. With this one, I'm not. This one, I kind of just put out
so
little things.
your secular one, if you like, is just your profile, Wes Hone.
But it's all business and stuff. It's all business hints and tips. But I get so much work out of Facebook, it's not funny. I get people private message me, I need a coach, I need this, everything's going bad, can you help with the sales, can you do this? Heaps of it, heaps of it. I didn't know for 3 years. I had to mine that thing for years before it ever, because I've never sold anything ever on Facebook, because it's not the place to sell. It's attraction marketing, it's pull marketing, it's profiling yourself so that people are attracted to you. And the minute you start selling, people will just disengage. You can sell occasionally very softly, that's about the most. But you have to just profile yourself and use it to send links to other things and so forth. It's a big topic. But the reason why I like it so much is because, A, it's the future. If you ever want to be anywhere on the Intergoogle, on the line, then if you ever want to be in position 1, 2, 3 or 4 organically on the web, you have to adopt this. Because the way Google are moving, and if you've ever done a SWOT analysis, like one of the threats, if you don't know, is what's happening within Google. Because no longer you're probably never going to get to the top of Google if you don't start to learn the rules of what they're doing. Everything's going to endorsement-based marketing. So if the public aren't endorsing you, really, you will never rank. Because they want relevancy and cool people and people that people like. That's what they're going for. So like you put a like button on your blog post that it immediately shares it onto their profile. Google's watching that to see how many people will like it, because if they like it, it must be relevant. If it's relevant, it's going to go to the top. The latest algorithm that came out in October, the Penguin 2.1 with Google, there's a lot of changes, but the major one was, prior to that, get lots of backlinks to your website. That changed, backlinks are bad. Okay, so all these people that had been backlinking with companies in Persia and all this sort of stuff immediately fell away. They went from number 1 to page 410, never to be found again, after investing all that time and money.
Wow.
Now, prior to the change though, these SEO companies thought they were doing the right thing. That's the power that Google have. They will fix it. Every 2 years they'll do a major release, and every 14 days they change the algorithm in some way so that you can never be mastered. But what we do know is that right now, your cookies and your tracking, it's all disappearing. Google for the last 6 months have been running completely transparent tracking and filtering in an environment, because what they do is they have the internet twice. They have the one that we use and one that they play around with. They've been playing with it so that it's completely transparent, and they're going to launch that later this year, early next year, where no longer will you be able to go to an SEO company and track anything. You won't know where your customers come from, you won't know where they're going, you won't know what their patterns are, and then you'll have to go to Google to buy that information. They currently sit with 90 billion in the bank, which is small fry compared to where they'll be in 3 or 4 years' time.
This is more than what a country has.
That's right.
Well, we have in the bank is Australia.
Well, somebody said the other day, that's more than America. I said, mate, I have more than America.
Yeah.
There's 17 trillion in debt, you know. Like. Now people say to me all the time, what would I do? What am I going to say on social media? You know, what have I got to say that's exciting? For those people, I went and did some research, and I found this group here. This is a group on Facebook called the I Peel Off the Fruit Stickers and Put Them On Things group. This is a group of people that go around the world picking fruit stickers off fruit and put them in a scrapbook and trade them. Now, these have only got 157. I'll tell you a funny story. I came across this group, and I was actually looking for a different group. The group I was looking for was the Fruit Sticker Appreciation Society. 1.7 million followers.
Kidding me.
Can you imagine going to their national conference? Be a hoot, wouldn't it? And you reckon you're boring. Imagine, these guys, that would be shocking. Okay? So everybody has got a story, and social media allows you to get on your soapbox and tell your story. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, what you're doing, it is a platform for the world's largest database. 1.23 billion people are on Facebook, and you can talk to any of those. With Facebook advertising, I'm a huge fan. I do Facebook advertising all the time because it's a cheap way to get in front of my audience. I can say I want men between 20 and 26 in Brisbane, in Ashgrove, who are interested in golf, and it'll go just those people right there.
And tell you how many there are.
That's right.
Amazing.
And I can market to those. It's the ultimate marketing machine to get in front of your audience. So I run ads right now. I run ads for the Business Greenhouse, training academy for believers in business, and I target men and women from between sort of 25 and 55, and I go in these areas, and now you can go who are interested in. It's the latest category that they released, because you can't say Christian, can't say Muslim, like that's out, okay? But you can go interested in and following. So I can say interested in the Bible, interested in C3 Church, interested in Hillsong, they're all in there. Interested in whatever, Christians in business, who are following John Maxwell, who are following, I can do it, that's all in there now. So you can get right to the source, and you only pay for when people see your ad. How good is that? What you couldn't get when you run the paper and Yellow Pages and stuff like that many years ago. Now you can go, bang, right down. Remember right at the start, who's your ideal market? They're on Facebook. And the truth of the matter is, everything's on Facebook. You know the saying, what happens in Vegas stays on Facebook. That's the truth. Everyone's got a camera, everyone's got a high definition camera. Everyone's got a phone, you can make videos, blogs. For those of you that are not connected with me, I put out business hints and tips all of the time, so I should probably at least grab your business card before I go, because it doesn't cost you anything, there's nothing to buy here.
I don't understand. Like, I'm a 56-year-old married Christian woman, and it says that in my Facebook page where we're connected. I know all about you. You know all about me and what I've been doing. And yet, I always get the Ellen DeGeneres kissing another woman ad, and that comes up every time.
It's because you
I
click
get
on
that
something
too.
like it.
Do you get that as well?
I get it too, so
And
don't worry about
you
that.
put yourself in as a Christian person and you're married and that sort of thing? Because I thought, why would a married
It's what you've
56-year-old
clicked
Christian
on.
woman?
It's I'm not saying you clicked on that or anything
No.
like it, but it's tracked by what you click on. What you click on, you'll see. So for example, let's say you clicked on channel 7, okay? Just I'm not saying you did, but let's say you
That's
clicked
filled
on,
with lesbian women who,
yeah, Tracy Grimshaw. So let's say hypothetically, no, but I didn't say she was. I just mentioned her name. Here's the word. Allegedly. You get away with anything if you say allegedly.
No.
The paper got away with it.
I'm just worried about our insurance at the moment.
So this guy can edit. He told me he's great. Where were we? So where were we? So anyway, so if you want to give me a card, we'll put you in part of that. But what a great way to target your audience. You remember, we set up right, who's your ideal customer? You can go straight to that group of people on Facebook and stuff like that. And so it's massive. Like, it's a phenomenal way. At the moment, it costs me $2 to get my target audience to like my Facebook page, my business greenhouse. Costs me $2. Now that's fairly high, but it's only really targeted people. Like they are people in the demographic of the thing they're in business. So, do you know the reason why I do it? I do it to get them, but then when I boost one of my posts, it goes to all of their friends. So by getting them on, I've now had access to 200 more people. And then when one of those comes and likes me, I've got access to all the rest. Does that make sense? And so we're just increasing our reach so that we can let more people know about the cause that we stand for. So it's really, really good. Let's do Q&A. What have you got? And I'll put that up so that if you're not coming, you should come. But only if you're in business. This is only relevant if you're in business. If you're not in business, it won't be relevant.
So Wes, for people in service-based industries, what's your comment on the value of LinkedIn and Pinterest versus Facebook?
Okay, so I hear great things. I'm on LinkedIn. I hear great things about it. I don't actively use it. I get, I don't know, 500. I get one a day. Somebody says, "Can I connect?" It's just not something that I've got my head around yet. I'm not a fan of posting one thing across all platforms. I think that's because when people follow you on many, they get bored with that. I find LinkedIn, the website, to be incredibly annoying to navigate. However, I hear it's phenomenal because you can go straight to the people you want to talk to. So I hear great. Pinterest, I'm not sold out on Pinterest at all. I'm yet to see anybody made any money out of it, apart from putting pictures of dogs and cats that they're really interested in. So I'm not a huge fan. I think
it seems to be mainly for women. Like
definitely,
It's
it's Facebook for women.
It's actually really, really big in education. It's
Yeah.
huge in education. So there's millions of boards worldwide, which you can aggregate a whole lot of materials that people actually want.
But how do you sell?
You link to your website. You link, if on the board someone's interested in that,
So
you
shopping
link to your
carts.
website, so
Yeah.
it drives traffic to your
Yeah.
website.
So you've got your little pin,
Mm.
and then somebody's really interested in this set of templates you've created or whatever it may be, or clothing or whatever, and then they pin that on that board. If somebody then clicks on that, it actually goes back to your website.
Yeah, so I don't know any blokes that use it for that exact reason, because there's too many steps. Facebook's simple. You write a post, you
Yeah.
press go.
LinkedIn works really well with us.
LinkedIn would be
because
great.
It's all about the profile of who's got PhD.
As long as you update it regularly, you keep
Yeah.
in communication with your people, it's good. I still love
We,
Facebook.
like the most amount of people we get for our breakfast from outside our network come from LinkedIn.
But LinkedIn seems to be the business one. Or my
Yes,
son
it is.
works in
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very business.
QRF
It's a
or
professional
Lawyer.
network, and it's not
Yeah.
really good for sales. I don't find, I like to contact someone, although I get all of the Indian companies constantly contacting me directly, and marketers and all that sort of stuff. But if somebody wants to make a decision about whether they're going to go for our company or another company, they always go for the profile.
Yeah, and it's
So
great
I have a
for
good look at the
recruitment.
Yeah.
If you want to headhunt people for work for you, what a great
Which
way.
is what it started at.
That's right. That's right.
But
So
they seem to think in the commercial, well, in the management world, it'll take over from Seek as far as finding.
I don't know that it ever will, but
Well, it'll challenge them.
it has. Well, it has already.
Yeah.
Well, Seek shares are dropping big time. So, yeah, I think LinkedIn is a great tool.
The groups
Just haven't done it.
It's
The
changed.
groups
Yeah,
work.
but I even find them annoying because you get an update every day. When you're Christians in business is a big group, and it's like far out. I could never keep ahead of you guys. You guys need to build a business so you're actually doing something. You're not just writing on LinkedIn all day.
Well, it's true.
I'm being serious. Like
Some people know all the time.
I don't need to read everything they write.
But you can opt out of those updates if you don't want them. Those annoy me too, that are coming too often, so just opt it out and go visit them.
But in our industry, being IT focused, some of the IT ones are so targeted. So somebody puts a question in saying, what is the best tool for us to purchase for such and such? And people will give, all their replies on why it's good, the benefit of it, how much it cost, even though that might have been confidential information. And so you can then contact the salespeople, and then you can say, yeah, but I know that you sold it to Origin Energy for such and such. I want the same deal.
Ooh, that could be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my LinkedIn profile at the moment, I plan to use it for one specific purpose of product. I'm probably connected, like 90% of those people are senior pastors or pastors of churches around Australia. So my goal is just that one day I'll change my profile to, if you want us to be the catalyst to start your business people, be an educator in your church, then we'll come and do this training. And that's all we'll do. And I'll just post about that and you need short videos and stuff like that through it. That's my plan, but I just don't have time to take on that project yet. Other questions about marketing?
I have one. If search engine optimization, so those websites that have paid for that and got all of those backlinks that you said have just like made them go to the bottom, should SEO be one of our strategies to increase?
To change it, like if you disappeared or?
Well, if those people they'd paid for that, that was one of their strategies, and now they Google have changed the system. Should you still continue to use
SEO companies?
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to be around in 12 to 18 months as a service. I think that business is going to die, yes.
I
But
think you should write for humans.
I'm taking a punt on that, but
If you write for humans, you'll survive.
yes and no. Yep, I reckon you're probably 80% right. Because the thing that they've gone back to is their fundamentals: good copy, relevant copy, lots of copy. You know, that's what they've gone back to in their latest algorithm. So,
Because the algorithms are aimed at overcoming the gamers, the people who keep gaming the system.
that's right. That's what SEO companies do.
Trying to
So the
get
reason
back
why
to-
Google don't like SEO service providers is because Google's entire business, remember, all Google is a website. All their entire business is matching people and information. That's all they do. And the closer they can match the information to the inquiry, the more market share they'll have. Now, they have 96% market share, so there's not much room for more. But they can lose a lot. So their business. Now, what does an SEO company do? An SEO company tries to, when people type in red widget, they try and make companies with a blue widget turn up. That's what they do. They're trying to trick the system through tricks to get the wrong company to show at the top. Whereas Google's business is getting the people that search for red widget to get red widget spot on. That's why they're making these changes. My thing is, it's like investing. If you just invest by giving your money to somebody else to trade it, be prepared to lose a lot because you're abdicating all responsibility. If marketing on the internet is the future and it is the world's largest database and it will become even bigger, if people want to abdicate that to somebody else, then be prepared that you're going to be in trouble if that ever fails. Why wouldn't you take the time to learn it yourself? It's not going to be easy, but at least you can be ahead of the game. Write your own copy. For example, the latest release says if your keyword is in a copy for more than 3% of the words, you'll get a Google slap and you'll go down the page. Your keyword cannot be more than 3% of the text of the page. Because what people were used to do is they'd get sentences that didn't even make sense.
Yeah.
I am Crane High Brisbane to do Crane High Brisbane all the way through, stuff like that.
So, in other words, again, it comes back to write as you would normally write and put your stuff up there.
Know your market and write for them.
Yeah.
That's what I default to, but I'm probably just lazy and haven't been doing this.
So that's a massive change, isn't it?
Massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to get bigger. Because they have to keep changing, otherwise, your McDonald's and your BPs of the world will just own the internet and they can't have that.
Whereas I'd be interested, you talked about having 10, basically you come up to 10 strategies. If I was to summarise what you said today, and then you've got to work out what they are. Would the same be for a local church, to come up with 10 different strategies?
Yeah, I quite often do have this conversation with them too.
Yeah.
10 ways to go into the community and draw people back in.
Yeah.
I was asked to do a breakfast with some pastors down in Tasmania, down in Hobart at the end of last year. And I didn't really know what to say, because as you can imagine, I live in a pretty rough world and you go in front of them and everything's nice and fluffy, so I didn't want to offend too many of them, and or any of them really. But I kind of drew this plan and I said, you guys, over history, not you guys, but probably you guys, but over history, the church has done the hang out the shingle strategy.
Yeah, that's what they do.
But if I can get a really cool graphic and a really funky logo, then I'm going to be ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
We have to go. So I said to these guys, I said, here's a mall in the middle of Hobart City. Why don't you all combine, put an event on, that way everyone's not knowing that you're competing. Put an event on to do a concert on a Monday morning on the way everyone's going to work. So as these people are ferrying past, I said, man, that's not what church normally looks like on a Monday morning when everyone's miserable and fun. Why don't you guys do that? Stick in a couple of grand each, have a concert on Monday morning in the mall. That's a great idea. It's like, go and get them. Go and give them an experience of you before they buy from you, and then they're more likely to want to walk into your church on Sunday. And they really enjoyed that process.
Try selling that to most churches.
Yeah. Guys, it is 10:39. Probably if we parked in the car park for 4 hours, you'll be running out of time. So you should bring it to a close now. But feel free, share, you know, this is not the end, you know, keep going. Drive down to Business Greenhouse, share the video, get others involved. Do that. You had a good day?
Yeah,
Yes.
great.
Great.
Thanks.
You learned something? Is it worth giving up half a day?
Yes.
I did.
I don't know.
Wes, why don't you pray?
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Father, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to even chat with you people. It's always a pleasure to come and chat with fellow brothers and sisters. Father, I pray for even in the next hour or so, something will happen in their business and it'll only be you that could have put that together. Some supernatural divine appointment or phone call or opportunity or something like that. Why? Because you love it and it's fun. Father, I pray favour and I pray a new level of excitement about their business as they go about it in the next lot of time. Father, your ways are the only ways. They're much better. They're more exciting. It's more an adventure. And so today we choose you. Amen.